But now, we are heading into the Champions Select. Team Go Aurora on the blue side, Big Chroma on the red side. Regulus, let's talk about bans. Let's talk about what these teams should take from each other.
So it looks like, I mean, they've kind of run it back with the bans both games in a row. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see it yet again. We see like the Lilia, if it's Lilia, Trist, Ivan, it would not surprise me. It's working well for Aurora, fine. If it's Panth, Zig, Sedge again from Chroma, would not surprise me. They just seem to be running these three bans back time and time again. Clearly a lot of respect on a lot of these picks towards these players. So that is probably where I would be looking on this ban phase. But we could see that Alawi come through on the side of Big Chroma.
Once again, I think they can try to deal with that Ilawi in some other way and be more proactive, as you both mentioned. And it's just exactly as you said. Ivan being banned here from Go Aurora, and Kaisa being banned from Chroma. Now, this is an adaptation. J-Real, tell me about this adaptation.
So I personally would have banned away like the Ziggs and the Alawi to round that one off, but the Kites are being banned away. They are putting Cosmic onto something they're maybe not as confident with, maybe something a little bit less dangerous in the earlier stages, because they probably are saying, okay, they're probably going to pick Nautilus Kaiser again, let's just ban one of those two, and Kaiser are definitely a little bit more of the threat. I do like it. I think it gives a bit more time for the side of Xavi to scale as well, because we talked about it, Zaya doesn't scale as fast as Kaiser. If Kaiser gets ahead, it's just a big problem.
Yeah. And now the last bans, Tristana and Syndra, which lead us to the first pick of Aurora Regulus. We are waiting still for their priority. Let's see which lane are they focusing on. And
they just lock the Darius, a classic of Sana's. Just let me draw all this pressure top. This is just bread and butter for Sana. It seems to be pretty clear that Go just like to just pick whatever they want for Sana on this B1, because they know that she's going to come up with the goods. We see Ari, Zeri now coming in for Xavi. Two really good picks, obviously indicating that we're going to see some quite heavy dive coming out the side of Big's comp, and then a bit of control coming in from Lilian with the Nico. Really great setup for playing this Belveth. Really important pick that they get the sort of Nico with the Belveth there. And then Rakan, a classic combination with that Zeri. So yeah, I'm expecting some heavy dive coming out from this big comp.
J-Real, I know that you really want to talk about what's going on, to talk about this Belveth, to talk about this Nico, and on the other side, Rakan and Zeri. But Big Chroma banned Ilawi here?
Yeah, I don't know why they banned Ilawi. That's a little bit strange from me. I'm not... I don't really get that. But either way, we move on. They also banned away Set, so I don't know why they're kind of banning out top as if they think the Darius is going somewhere else, because realistically, there's only so many picks here, right? Nico, Belveth, and Darius. They could all play jungle potentially if you really wanted, but at the same time, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm very sure that Belveth is going to be the jungler, therefore Darius will be the top laner, unless I've maybe missed a patch and Darius ADC is a thing. But it's a sentiment where I do like to pick up a lot. I like the Nico. It gives a lot of kind of difference in terms of plays, because you can hide, you can kind of get a lot of surprise. I will say, really smart from Big Chroma in the initial ban phase to ban away Syndra, because that Zeri is going to be so difficult to lock down, and the Darius could have a very tough time.
Yeah, so the Nocturne comes out on the side of Big Chroma. Again, just a classic combination there, plenty of dive, and also makes it so awkward for champions like Belveth and Nico to try and like orchestrate themselves into the fight as soon as those lights go out. But we do see Ziggs not. I was kind of expecting maybe the Zaya to come out from Cosmic here, knowing that there is heavy dive. Something like Xehanort is absolutely fine, but that's putting a lot of faith into Kiana.
They picked Heimerdinger top.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Crow. Okay, so this is really interesting. So Heimer is a pick that we know that Crow plays, right? It's something which I guess it feels very solo queuey because it is very, very off theme. But at the same time, it does start to narrow down the sort of lanes that the Bel'Veth is going to be able to gank, because if there's one rule of thumb is that you do not gank a Heimerdinger lane unless you have appropriate setup. So it makes it really difficult for this Bel'Veth to make plays on top, makes it difficult for mid lane because, I mean, Ari's Ari, right? Level 6 Spirit Rush, and then obviously on the bot side, you got Zeri Rakan. Oh, I'm threatened. I'm Zeri. I'm just going to hover over a wall. So this is going to be really awkward, I think, Phil, for Delicate to navigate.
I'm so thrilled with this spicy draft, to be honest, on both sides. So now I want your help to try to understand exactly what both these team comps want to do, J-Real. So let's start by Team Go Aurora. What are their winning conditions? What should they be planning to do?
So this is the thing, and I agree with Regulus when you said this. It feels very solo queue because realistically, Go Aurora have loads of win conditions, right? They could have the Darius get really far ahead, become a split push very similar to the last game. Then Nico could become a big problem as well and just win most team fights if they are able to get the jungle and the mid ahead with a bit of support from the Nautilus and the Ziggs there. That's a very strong 4v4. And I just feel like in the bot lane as well, you potentially want to move that Ziggs around. Now, the big thing I will say that is key for them is controlling that earlier stage of the game. Because if we go late game, the Zeri going to become a big problem. The Heimerdinger also going to be a really big problem for them to team fight into. So I think it's about getting an early lead. I think there should be some level of priority on trying to build up the Ziggs, to start opening up the towers, to start opening up the map. Because realistically, as I said earlier, ganking a Heimerdinger is not really the funnest time.
No, definitely not. And it's also important that Kiana in this Nautilus can manage something in this bot lane to try to slow this Zeri down as much as possible. Now, Regulus, let's talk about Big Chroma. Let's talk about what they want to do with this comp and what are the tools they have to try and win the game.
It's dive, 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 baby. You want to be getting Trez around this map, especially at level 6. The paranoia comes in. You've got so much just all-in potential. It's going to be really awkward, I think, for this Go bot lane to navigate this. I do like that you do have this kind of like really great, strong tower taking potential between the Bel'Veth and the Ziggs on the side of Go. But at the same time, I feel like the Ziggs pick is a little bit awkward. He's not the most ideal anti-dive pick. Does have the satchel, but it's definitely not a Featherstorm, right? So I feel like this bot lane is going to be heavily targeted at level 6. I feel like that we're going to see Big really looking to control so much more of this sort of top side of the map here with this Heimerdinger. And I mean, I've just seen from Prod, they've just said Kiana's chat reaction to the Heimer pick was apparently a no way. And for a Nautilus trying to hook a Donga, listen, the Donga just puts the tower down and goes, hold that. And that's it. So, you know, there's some really nice little interactions on the side of Big Chroma. And for me, I mean, the Donga pick is a completely wild one, but I am so excited to see how this operates.
Yeah, okay, now let's focus on these two junglers and what they should be doing, or what we should expect them to be doing around the map, at least during the early stages of the game. J-Real. Starting with Bel'Veth, I think.
Yeah, so weirdly, I know I've talked about proactivity so much in this series, but I actually think both these junglers are gonna basically have a more relaxed game. I think like Nocturne especially doesn't really gank super well until they're 6, and I think they're by all means fine to kind of wait until they get to that paranoia. In terms of Bel'Veth, I think they need to turn the Jets on a little bit more, but we'll have to find out.
We have to find out because we are ready for the last match of this series from Big Chroma against Go Aurora. So, J-Real, Regulus, take it away.
Okay, last game of this first semi-final of today, and what a way to kick us off in what is going to be a very beautiful game of Pathfinders 2. And right now, Big Chroma looking to seal the deal. Go Aurora trying to change the fates. Can they pick themselves into a win here? Can they take themselves through? I think it's a bit of a tough ask, as Big, I feel like they have the better scaling, right? But we saw a little bit earlier, the scaling isn't everything. How are you kind of feeling about Go Aurora? Because we've definitely assembled two much more solo Q-esque teams.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that Go Aurora has a really interesting identity with their comp. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It has some really good lockdown tools. I mean, the Nico, Nautilus into the Belveth knockup, and obviously you work that with the Ziggs, can just burst down single targets. It's a little bit more fast and loose than perhaps what we traditionally see. I mean, typically you'd perhaps see like a Jax in the top lane if you're playing this kind of lockdown style, because then Sana would also be able to contribute to that sort of big wombo with the Pop Blossom and with the Mega Inferno Bomb. But, you know, this is a really cool look from Go, and again, equally, Big has brought out some of its own spice in the form of this Simon pick.
Oh, and this damage on Kayano already starting to ramp up, and Zeri's where I'm really looking, right, in the later stages. I think that Xavi has been a really good carry all around. The Trist ban, the focus from the side of Go is really important. But all in all, getting on the Zeri is going to feel quite powerful for them, especially if they can start to play around those fights, because we saw it on the Xayah. They are very able to move away, they're very elusive, they're very hard to hit. But when it comes down to it, the Zeri is the hardest ADC to hit in the game. And we are seeing a really weird pathing, by the way, from the start of this game. Wolves is going to be taken by Trez and now going straight over to the Raptors. And we saw Delicate go for the top side of Trez's jungle, stole the red buff and the Raptors, and now has gone back to the red buff to catch them out. And Trez in trouble, does use the spell shield to stop the route, but there's the knockup. But the team are moving over as well, and here comes Xavi. Double knockup there for Lumi. Can they get the damage down? So far, everyone is being forced back away, and no one will fall.
A really spicy start there from Trez. Steals away the Raptors, obviously, as a Nocturne. Literally just passed straight from top Raptors, their Raptors, to the blue side Raptors. Just
no, it was. I think it was Delicate that forced the swap. I think that Trez was caught out in the top, so I'm not sure if we have a replay for that. But it looked like Delicate started the red buff of Trez's, and then Trez had to adapt. But right now, talking about adaptation, bot lane. Okay. Proactive plays are going to happen. Cosmic and Kayana putting their foot down, and after that kind of weird play in that jungle, they were able to pick up a bit of a better trade, and now with their lead are putting pressure on Big spot lane.
Yeah, certainly. And yeah, I mean, again, just really spicy plays coming out of Big. They're definitely showing a little bit more aggression, and Sana going big on Crow here. The barrier comes out, and it's just not enough as the first blood goes to this Darius. Okay. Well, we're running it back. We're running it back, J Real. It's a Sana show yet again. And absolute horror here for Crow in the top lane. Has had such a rough time of it for big chunks of this series. Has had to play more facilitative. Perhaps looked better on that Malphite pick than something a little bit more janky or a little bit more carry focused. But Sana, take a bow with the cheeky solo bolo to kick us off here.
And who needs ganks when you can solo kill? I guess that seems to be the plan from Sana. They're just making sure that they can put Crow into base for free. And we'll see if that does continue. Crow, no summoners now as well, and didn't take TP, so this might hurt them. Sana also doesn't have TP though, so a little bit less mobility around the map. As looking at the mid lane here, it's been pretty even. And from so far, what we've seen in the game, are you feeling like Go or Aurora are having the lead? Because a lot of adaptation being made by Chroma.
Yeah, for sure. I think that... For a minute, never mind. You go, J-Real, you go.
Hold on, Delicate now jumping back in. Trez tried to steal jungle, but it may have caused big problems. They are going to run out of this jungle, but do they have the damage to pick up this kill? Lumi is going to go down, but Xavi now the next one on the chopping block. Can they make a play? They're going to get hooked back. They're going to be taken away, and Delicate with 2 more kills is starting to ramp up.
What's going on the side of Big right now? This is not where you want to be. You've got that hyper-scaling Zeri. You're slowly making your way into the game. You want to get to a point where your comp can really come online. You want to hit level 6 and put everything together. But they're just opting into messy skirmishes. And we've spoken about Go's love for playing skirmish heavy. They've got so many tools to do that in this early game. And they're just walking straight into it. They're just playing straight into Go's hands.
And we talked about how Big have fallen behind in some games and they've been able to stall themselves out, but this one feels a little bit different, right? It feels like Team Go have kind of put the pressure onto Big Chroma and they haven't adapted too well to it. Trez is finding a really tough time, and we talked about a big problem but in the last game was that Trez wasn't able to be proactive, and through the fact of the pathing of Delicate, they forced Trez around the map, and it's meant that they haven't been able to get a single gank off just yet. However, the one saving grace is that Nocturne level 6 is going to be a much more dangerous beast.
Absolutely. I mean, there is still really great pick potential, of course, on the side of Big. Once that paranoia comes online, the lights go out, and so does someone's life very potentially. And well, it looks like the game's gone out for the moment as a pause has come in. But J-Real, let's take a look at the gold right now. We're seeing a nice advantage being built both in the top lane and in the jungle. Delicate on her patented Belveth pick. Such a huge pick for her, and the ability here to play that with Sana, who is again now ahead on this Darius. The Merc Tread's already completed. Going to be so difficult to lock him down with such soft CC, with, you know, the Ari charm, the Nocturne Fear, and of course the grenade from Heimer. But it's not going to be enough to really keep him in place for long. He pops the ghost, and the team could be popped in an instant.
They could become ghosts. Yeah,
they could become ghosts.
It's a sentiment where I feel like I had expectations coming into this day, right? I had expectations that Big Chroma were going to come through pretty heavy and just look really strong. And Go Aurora, by no means did I feel like they were going to be a walk in the park, right? I think they're a really good team, but from what they showed yesterday, they didn't necessarily have the consistency to kind of keep themselves ahead of water. But in this game, we're starting to see how they can show that they can play different styles. Last game, we saw Delicate on a tank playing for the team. Now they're playing a carry and getting leads, and it almost feels like Go Aurora have just kind of hit the Saiyan button, because they have ramped up. Their power level is over 9,000 in this game, and they are looking to potentially cause a big upset in this tournament.
Absolutely, and absolute props to Aurora. They have really come into today just looking to play their style, but they've made such great adaptations. And Sana was someone for me who I feel like was a bit of a question mark coming into the second day, because day one she looked decent enough, but she did have a couple of really tough games. So it's really great to see her come up in a big way here. Firstly, obviously, in the second game, and already now in game 3.
And Kana sticking to what they do best. The hooks have been lethal, and they are threatening them every single time. Now, we do have a look at this game, which is quite early. 2k lead over to Go Aurora. They haven't managed to pick up the objectives yet, but I think the Dragon is going to be on their cards right now. But Big do have a really good scaling option, right? When they get to that level 6, Vixen and Trez will become a lot more prominent. When they get to the late stages, Crow and Xavi are going to be a little bit of a nightmare for Go Aurora. So there is still a long way left in this game. But what do you want to see from Trez? Because they're still not level 6 yet.
I feel like Trez has had such a difficult time early. She did get the really nice sort of proactive play in early, which is kind of what we were looking for. But at the same time, Delicate's been able to counter jungle so effectively that she's not really been able to build a lead out of it. Obviously now down 2 kills. And for Trez right now, you're just getting to 6 here. And this is the time where she should be looking to try and affect the map a bit more. It's going to be difficult to get onto Lilian, sorry, because the Pop Blossom is up on the side of the Nico. Is obviously a really strong form of peel for her. But now I feel like we're going to have to start making plays down towards this bot side, because I feel like as soon as this Nocturne goes anywhere near Sana, he's going to get squashed.
And I also want to see some cheeky Nico plays. You know, like I will say, I got quite into playing Nico. I'm a jungler. I started playing Nico jungle when the changes did occur. And the plays that you can make by pretending to be a ward, pretending to be someone else are pretty insane. And I do wonder if we're going to get some mind games from Team Go.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see Lilian come back into the lane, perhaps as a minion. Could be as a Gromp. I'd be surprised if it was a Grump actually. But yeah, Liliana, I feel like is someone who we've spoken about a fair amount today. She has really come up in a big way against Vixen in these matchups. Of course, these early learning phases between these two mid laners is always very, very stable. But coming out of lane, she has been a real highlight for me. Although obviously understated compared to what Sana and of course Delicate have been able to do. But Liliana should not be underestimated.
Oh, they're going to catch Trez here. Red buff is a hero, but not for long because it doesn't matter. There's the pop loss and there's the damage, and goodbye to Trez. Another invader doesn't go their way, and it is capitalized on by Go Aurora. They sensed it. They had that spider tingling, and then they were able to find another kill. So big once again tried to make a play, and it didn't work out in their favor.
I don't really know what Trez is doing in that position, but okay, we'll go off this in a second because it looks like there's going to be a play made down towards the bot lane, but alas, just a little in and out from the Rakan. But yes, with regards to Trez, I don't understand why she was down there in the bot side jungle. There is absolutely no prio there for her. She's not really in position to be assisted by her team, and also, you know, she's down on the Bel'Veth. You do not want to be trying to invade a Bel'Veth who is already so far ahead of you. When you still had Raptors, when you still had Krugs up in the top side, just pathing up there, maybe just clearing through your own camps rather than going for these risky sort of Hail Marys, it's just really unnecessary.
Yeah, and I think they're just trying to gain back any control of the map they can. Right now they're 21 CS down, which in jungle terms is 5 camps, which is quite a lot. That's almost a full clear ahead the Delicate is of Trez. And we are starting to see them reap the benefits of these rewards, right? They are starting to get ahead with those items. They're 1 item up. They have managed to pick up the Herald. They're controlling the neutral objectives because they got the Draken as well. And if they can now start positioning this and turning it into further and further leads for the rest of the team, it could lead to a snowball like we saw in game 1 that is going to be very hard for Big to stop.
Absolutely. And obviously, we're 130 away from this second Drake coming up. First items for a lot of the players on Big haven't come in. The static shiv has finally just come in there for Xavi. But whether or not Big are actually going to be in the position to really fight for this Drake remains to be seen, because it looks like right now that they are going to have to see the lights go out, but the Pop Blossom comes through.
Pop Blossom is going to go up the fear, only just catching them out, and Delicate low, but not going to go down. Spirit Rush not enough damage from Vixen, and Liliana also taken very low, but again, still surviving with a slit up at the charm, catches them out, and there's the kill. Vixen stepping forward, picks up 1, and will get Big onto the board. Finally, it all pays out. And they've got their first kill, and maybe they've got a bit of pressure around this Dragon. As you said, 50 seconds, but killing on the mid lane, maybe getting a bit of tempo. Maybe this is the swing point.
This is what we need to see from Vixen here. She's gone kind of quiet on these off games where she's not been playing the Zaf, but she comes up so clutch in this moment. The flash charm connecting, so lovely to see coming out from Big mid laner. As we're now 30 seconds away from this Drake coming up, and this is exactly what we need to see Big coming in for. The Everfrost now in, but it looks like Siri.
Oh, you gotta run, Zombie. There's the hook, there's the knock up, and goodbye. Delicate gonna be able to pick up a kill, drops the Herald as well, and we know what Ziggs does to towers. This could be first brick in the bag.
It's certainly looking like it could be first brick in the bag, followed up by this Drake on the side of Go. This is what you want to be seeing here. Getting plenty of plate gold, splitting it there with the Bel'Veth, get that Bel'Veth ahead, but get these towers down, get this Ziggs around the map, create so much pressure. But I don't really, again, just Xavi, perhaps a little bit disrespectful with the positioning in the lane there. The Rakan was running down the river, furiously trying to get to the ADC, but alas, she was already dead. Great proactive play on the eve of the Dragon coming up for Go Aurora.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were gonna maybe like flash for the wall and then skate across, but they managed to get caught. And talking about getting caught, Trez is now caught. Sana going aggressive. The fear will catch, and also the knockup. But there's the pull. The bleed is going to be ticking over, and now Lumi in trouble. Left next to the Darius, who is speeding across this lane, gets one and looking for more. Pulls back. Crow in big trouble now, trying to run away. Will have built enough space between them to get out safely, but Go around the map are finding success. They get a kill on the top side, they force out flashes, they force out summoners, and they take the Dragon. Go Aurora found what they needed to win, and they have changed.
You can run and you can hide, but Sana will find you and she will run you down. Absolutely fantastic work here from the top laner on the side of Go Aurora, just creating so much pressure again. And now so far ahead, 700 gold up on the Heimerdinger, the Belveth 2k up. Just such a dominant performance coming out here, game 3 on the side of Go Aurora.
And I was questioning it. I was like, Darius first pick, feels like you can get a counter to that, you know, feels like you could maybe play a pretty strong one into that one. Kled, things like that can do really well, but all in all, Sana has just had their pick of the list. They've been able to really play to top potential as Hook slightly going to go wide, but Velvet doesn't care. Delica goes aggressive, gets the kill, and look at the speed that they can remove someone from the map. Now Nocturne going to hit that Paranoia as we see an aggression from Vixen. There's the damage, lightning crash as well, big from Xavi, and they've already taken down one. They're looking for more, they get 2, they get 3, and it's 4 on the score. Big come up in a huge way, get a 4k, and now they're looking for the Herald.
And Big have done it yet again. We've seen this time and time again from them over the last couple of days. Their ability to pop up and find fights that just shouldn't. It's so good. They understand their go triggers, their comp. They understand that it's time to dive, baby, and they pick it up. Massive. And of course, the Herald going over to them as well. Fantastic work there on the side of Big, and hopefully we'll have a little replay come through shortly that will show us exactly how that fight came across.
In a game where it felt like there was a lot of doom for Big Chroma, they turn around and say, nah, there's no reason to gloom. They come back, pick up a huge team fight, and we're going to see how it all broke down.
Absolutely, the hook goes wide there from Kiana, but the lockdown comes through. The depth charge already used onto Rakan, and most importantly, I think for the Ziggs, the satchel is already used. So then it's just easy dive time for Trez, who's able to get straight into the backline. The angle is so awkward, but alas, with the angling again, the flash comes out.
Lumi going aggressive, but Delica is there. Always going to be a big threat, as we saw. A lot of damage was already done to Cosmic. Wasn't too sure how that one did occur, but Big Chroma, they equalized the gold lead. It's now only 300 gold for the side of Go Aurora, and look at who it landed onto. They've got wins onto Vixen, wins onto Xavi, and yes, Delica might be very far ahead still, but they have to get into close range, and against Inari, against Azeri, that could be a bit tricky.
Absolutely, and right now, if you're Sana, you really just don't want to face up against the Fed Seri. The ability for this champion to just kite and kite ad infinitum is so strong. So the fact that Xavi is back in this game in such a big way now, big gold lead coming out on the side of Big's AD carry, is just the worst case scenario, I think, for Go in this moment.
Delicate. With the team, they're ganking the Heimerdinger. It's not a fun time to be the Donga, you know, that's a lot of damage. Good night and goodbye. But the dragons looked cute at least.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Tamer Heimerdinger. Yeah, the little... Wait, was it the Dragon Tamer skin, or was it...
I don't know what they are.
Yeah, if it's Dragon Tamer Heimerdinger, then it is the best skin. By the way, the Control 3 spam, like the little dance spam on it, is the most infuriating thing to spam. So if you want to kill your enemies... It's not even a dance, it's just the noise that it makes. It's just really... Oh no, speaking of annoyance, Vixen's facing one right now.
Ooh, okay. Nico almost trying to get the pop blossom, but tier 2 tower is going to be taken in the mid. So again, progression from Big Chroma. They do trade it for the tier 1 in the top, but gold-wise, a big win for them. And they are starting to get control around this map, right? They're starting to set up, and I think that Dragon is a really big site that I have my eyes set on, because 45 seconds is going to be a mountain soul. And that is such a win for both teams, right? If you get that armor stacking, that defense is set up, even potentially the shield against what is a pretty bursty double side of teams, I think this is going to be a massive game changer.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you, JRL. Getting those extra resistances is going to be so crucial heading later into the game. Makes it so hard to rip through your team that way, especially when you know you've got the Zeri going absolutely nuclear, chaining that lightning through you. But once again, just massive props here to Big for finding their way back into this game. The gold lead has just completely shrunk, and the mid tower going down ahead of these mid-game objectives is such a big pickup for them.
Oh, Lumi. Nice wave clear. Gets out as well. Didn't have to flash though, so maybe important for this next team fight because it does seem to be around this dragon. Lilian gonna step forward with the clone. Nice to spot out the Heimerdinger, and all of those turrets are gone now. Engage! Big knock-up, and Paranoia also used Pop Blossom, gonna come down, but only catches out Lumi, and the rest of the team now ready to go into this fight, and they have so much to use. Stepping forward, here goes Zeri straight into the face, but that's a Darius. You need to be a little bit careful. Sana now going around the wall, looks for the grab, but doesn't manage to get onto anyone, and Big not able to close the gap. They can't land the damage that they want to. Only the supports will fall down, but Big trying to get back into position, trying to save this tier 1 and go, able to stall them back. But all in all, a close fight. Dragon gonna go over to Big Chroma, but well held by Go Aurora.
Lumi on this Rakan went absolute sicko mode in this fight. Yes, they get taken up by the Pop Blossom, but they create so much disruption, cause so many issues for Aurora's fight. They're not able to properly navigate it. Let's take a look at this flank again coming in. They know that she's there, but it doesn't matter. The quickness comes out. She just about goes down, I think. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because the damage has already been done, and Vixen does so well to dive in sort of continuity with this Nocturne, get straight into the backline. And Delicate just has to limp away from this fight.
And I was a little bit worried for a second there when Xavi was next to the Darius. I was a bit like, maybe that's not what you want to be, because Darius is quite scary and Sana was quite dangerous. But nice jump away there from Xavi. But they were able to turn this one into a proactive fight again, turning the tides of what felt like Go's complete control. But the Baron is now up and running, right? We've talked about the Dragons, we talked about that as an objective. I think that importantly, I want to see Big setting up for those objectives again, forcing Go Aurora to walk into them, because if you have the Heimer, you have the Ari, it's easy catch potential. I'm talking about catch potential, Lilian might be getting caught here. Vixen stepping forward, did use the Spirit Rush, but forces back the enemy mid laner.
Absolutely. Oh, J-Real, it is just constant right now, and look, it looks like again Xavi's just going to do Zeri things absolutely fine. This is why you want the Zeri now into this mid lane. This is like the worst time for Go to be facing up against the Zeri. She's got so many avenues to get out of whatever Go is going to throw at her. At the minute, they only really have the sort of the Nico route, the Belveth knock-up, and obviously that hook from the Nautilus, but really that hook is the only thing that's probably threatening this Zeri right now, and it's easy enough to get away from, as we've just seen again.
And are we waiting for spikes? Are we kind of, what are we stalling out for? Or is there no stalling? Is everyone just ready to go? Like, how are we expecting these fights to progress? As right now it does feel like there's a bit of an ARAM angle.
We are certainly in ARAM mode right now. I feel like both teams are just taking a breather. There's a lot that's just transpired. They need to, especially on the side of Team Go, they kind of just need to pull themselves back, rein themselves back in, and just really think about how they want to proceed with the next phase of this fight. The Belveth is still very, very fed. Sana, of course, very, very strong. The Fawn coming in now on the Darius. Obviously, Force of Nature not quite as strong as it used to be. MR itemization in general at the minute isn't in the best spot. But obviously, when we take a look towards this Baron, which is up now, I don't know. I don't think either team really wants to go for it. I feel like we're just going to see some stalling, just taking the time before this next Drake comes up, before we see them really decide what they want to do next.
And so far, the stalling is working. I'm kind of like, who is this favoring more though? Because obviously Zeri, really scary late game, but then so is the Darius, so is the Belveth, and obviously we all know that if Belveth gets the Baron, they can just end the game, right? It's something that happened against G2 yesterday, and right now there, we are going to see Zeri running away, getting out successfully, because Belveth obviously with the minions they can spawn with that buff, it's just an insane split pusher. But at the moment, Go Aurora just sticking it close together. They don't want to get picked off. I'm surprised they haven't tried to open up the map a little bit, but I guess Lilian versus Vixen isn't going the way that they would want it. And the looming threat of the Nocturne being able to jump in with the Paranoia does close the map up for you a lot.
Absolutely. As long as Trez stays sneaky, it innately generates so much pressure because yes, you do have Vixen splitting down in bot lane, which of course Ari is very proficient at doing. But like, if you try and collapse on her with one or two members, and all of a sudden there's a knockdown in your face, so it's really scary. It's so hard to get this Ari, especially with the Banshee's Veil completed on her. Obviously, it does power trough her entirely, but you do get a little bit of that obviously we do have the Heimer coming in for that AP damage, so a more supportive, more utility based build coming out for Vixen this game. But I mean, it's perhaps not one we would expect to see, considering the Ari is so strong and
we've been here before.
So much gold.
We've been here before. Dragon being taken by Big, Aurora setting up for the Baron. They were looking to try and sneak that one, but obviously the proactive players, the thought process from Xavi, able to kind of force them off with the zap. And damn, Dragon on Dragon combat. A little bit hard. But, oh, hold on one sec. We have actual combat though. Lumi going to be able to jump away. Pop Blossom used, but not going to land. And Big almost getting caught up, but stays safe. And TP was used by Cosmic as well. So quite a lot invested from the side of Aurora. Can they turn this into anything? They lost the Dragon. Can they now get this tower? They're stepping forward as if they want to be aggressive. And there's the charm. There's the knock-up. Good stasis from Kayana will keep them alive for a little bit longer. But here comes the damage. It's reaping in. But look at the turnaround. Ziggs with the bomb. Gets them low. Big able to walk away though, as Vixen again stepping up, saying if you want to get to my team, you got to go through me, and forcing them back.
So very, very nice turn there from Big. It looks like for a moment that Lumi was going to go down, but Rakan does Rakan things, hops back over the wall, gets out with the quickness, and then of course a nice pick onto the side, onto Kiana there. But that mid tower does go down. Finally, we see this third tower fall for Aurora. It's taken them a bit longer than perhaps we would traditionally expect, especially with a Ziggs on the team. We're 25 minutes in, and they've finally just about opened up a passageway into this map. But they need to be so careful with this Baron because Heimerdinger at this point can pretty much solo it.
And they're also not in the gold lead anymore, right? They were really far ahead. Aurora were up quite a bit, but now they are down 600 gold, which again is not a big difference between the two teams, but it's the fact that Big has come back into the game that does make this a little bit scary. But if we look at the gold, where the power lies, Sana, Delicate, still the ones with a big lead. However, Vixen is starting to ramp up, and so is Xavi. And it does feel like it's the power of their, like, I guess, champions in a way, because it's kind of like we saw a lot of power from Sana in the last game, and Delicate obviously having a really strong one as well. I think Lilian has had a really great series, but Vixen and Xavi for the side of Big definitely feeling like the carries for their team, and we'll see who will survive the clash.
Certainly, and we were sort of talking about in the pre-match, oh wait a second, Lumi
a little bit in trouble. Quickness will be able to get them out alive. They can get away. And with the support of the team, able to walk that one out. Sana did use Ghost, which is an important summoner in these team fights, but maybe they've driven them back enough, as I feel like Team Go just looming around this Baron. They want to take this objective so badly.
But I think this is one which Big can contest at this point. They don't really have the setup for it, but they have so much prior in mid. Oh, the Paranoia comes out, and here we go, J-Real.
Used. There is the vision. They have managed to get the Nocturne's ultimate away, and they're still going to continue this. 4K, in goes the Ari, though, and in big trouble. Gets taken out with the Pop Blossom, but the Baron is 2K. Is anyone going to claim this? It's now going to start regenerating. 3K on the Baron as the fight is starting up again.
Sorry.
Forced back by the Zeri. The Baron going to go back to full HP, and Go do pick up one kill for their attempted push, and it was Vixen, which is a huge shutdown.
And Lilian has TP. I think that Big could have actually just turned and taken the Baron for themselves here. The Zeri pumping out so much damage, and granted, yes, Vixen does go down, but she gets so much work done before she does so. Of course, the Void Staff now completed on this Ari, just looking to chip away at some of the MR that's been built onto this Darius, onto this Belveth. But Big, I think they could have maybe turned and done it.
I was thinking they might do it as well. I feel like 2k health from the Baron. You've already got that 1,200 smite. That's only 800 needed, and you have a huge buff for yourself. But alas, it isn't going to be, and Go are looking to go back to this Baron. Will they start it up? Red wards are going to go down, controlling that pit. As we see them starting to try and play a little bit of a sneakier game, going into that bush, trying to find a pick, get a little bit of a lead over Chroma before they start the objective.
Absolutely. I think coming back to what we were sort of talking about pre-game with regards to kind of forcing Sana back onto this more traditional fighter, something that isn't so much a split push threat, and just making her really work with the team as opposed to being able to generate pressure in a more traditional 1-4. Although obviously Go were the team that opted into it themselves, you know, Big didn't need to worry about it. I feel like it's starting to work against Go, because although yes, they are very good at generating those early advantages, Big are just, their team fight and their ability to find fights, we've said it time and time again, is so good.
Kayano
And
going to
Vixen
go
might run in
slightly
here.
wide, and in they go to the back line. Goodbye to the Ziggs, immediately taking them out. But now the rest of the fight, look at the Darius. They've already managed to get the execute, and the stacks are huge. Jumping into the fight. There goes the guillotine. Zeri is down, and so is Rakan. 3 members gone for the side of Big Chroma. Only 1 falls for Go Aurora. That should be the Baron in their hands, but they are trading it over for that Dragon.
Sana coming up, absolutely clutching this fight. It looked so bad initially for Go because Cosmic just gets completely dove and eviscerated at the start of that fight, but alas, the Noxian guillotine, and down it comes, taking the heads of multiple members of this big side, and the Baron is the prize here. Absolutely fantastic work, and again, little mini caster curse coming through for myself, I must say. But yeah, let's take a look again. So this dive comes in from the start, the lockdown here. This stasis from Lilian by so much time puts Zeri into such an awkward spot, and they're just not able to really deal with Sana, who's so big on this Darius, was still so fed, and has had now an opportunity to get right into the middle of a fight.
And now we have to have all eyes on Delicate, right? It's a sentiment where this Bel'Veth with this buff can kill the minions, can become a massive problem, and you do not want to let this team just free push as they're going to go aggressive. Pop Blossom catches out too, and they've already managed to take down Zarbi. That is a huge pick for them, as in the backline Trez is also finding problems. The Vixen does manage to equalize out this fight. They find Lily Ann, but can they find more? Can they hold on? It's a 4 versus 3, and the minions are pushing in. Now, Delicate able to go slightly to the side. Cosmic could be in trouble. Vixen gets knocked back, not able to get into that fight fully. Kayana also playing Bouncer, but look on the side. We now have Sana pushing once again on their own, looking to get pressure onto these side lanes.
Absolutely, wow. What an incredible game we have here, J-Real. It's absolutely back and forth. It looks like a dive that could be coming in now.
Depth charge, but maybe too far forward. This is a problem for Kayana. Stepping up, could be going down, but lives with a tiny HP. Darius taking the tier 2 in the bot lane as well.
Oh my god, it's just non-stop right now, but this is so good for Go with this Baron buff. They can slowly wait for this cannon to come in. Alas, it's been charmed. It is going to go out of buff range, and then Vixen's going to be able to take that one away. So no tier 2 going down just yet, and then Cosmic sort of goes, drat, and then sort of walks away to head back on this Ziggs pick. But yeah, I mean, you still have to look at the gold right now, right? So 4k gold advantage on the side of the Bel'Veth, 4k almost for the Darius, but this mid bot of Big is so fed in comparison to their counterparts, of course, but Vixen opting for this more utility-based build has been really good at points in this game, but I fear that it might come to a point now where this Heimerdinger hasn't gotten far enough ahead to really do the damage that's needed.
And the threat of this Darius is massive. Right now, though, another fight going to go down. They have Darius charmed up. The CC is locking him in, but he's so powerful. Sana steps forward. She is the danger woman, and she is crushing through this team. Delicate now just able to rinse through the health bars. They will finally get one back for Big, but again, another fight goes Aurora's way, and there isn't anything Chroma can do about it.
Yeah, and we see again just on the side of Big, actually, you take a look at Zarbi's positioning in this fight. She's able to just get so much done on this side because she's able to just kite around so efficiently, kite out the Bel'Veth, kite out the Darius. It's so difficult, but I've got to say, Lilian with these Pop Blossoms this game has been so good, getting picks left, right, and center, coming up clutch on this Nico pick.
And how tanky is Sana? They dropped so much damage into them at the start of this fight, and they were still half HP. Then they get the healing from the Decimate, and they can just start moving forward into these team fights. And all while this is happening, Delicate is able to just slink in to the middle of the team, start doing big damage, and it hasn't been answered yet by Xavi. They don't have the damage to answer back. Maybe when they finish off this LDR, they can start to really be a threat, but until then, it feels like it's gonna keep going the way of Go Aurora.
Absolutely, and it's really interesting to look at Delicate's build path. Obviously, we have got the Jack Show on the Belveth. Typically, you'd see maybe like a Bork Jack Show, but alas, she's gone more for the sort of the Wit's End into the Cleaver kind of angle. But it's really, really working out for her. She's able to just get in, get so much done without being blown up, because there's such a dearth of damage really on the side of Big. They've kind of troughed it a bit. I mean, the Heimer will get some work done, but still needs that big damage amp, you know, and Ari is still waiting for this death cap to come through. So for now, this Belveth can really stack this item and get a lot done without having to fear of being taken down.
Pushing down the mid lane, Big Chroma needing to find some success. They had a bit in the mid game. They were able to take game back in control. Can it be through dragons? They have 3 mountain drakes. This would be for Soul, and it does give them a lot of shielding if they can pick this one up, but it is not going to go uncontested. Go Aurora ready to play for this Drake. They do not want to give this one over for free, and considering the team fights that we've had so far, they are by all rights the favourites in this one. Hook goes in, there's the Pop Blossom, but it's able to be avoided for now. We are seeing Xavi get a bit of damage down, but will get finally knocked up, but so far it's so good. But there's the Decimate, there is the Guillotine, look at him in the back.
Sana, you go so
Lumi,
big!
but it's not done yet. Xavi gaining the kite on Sana, not able to get into range, and Crow still alive as well. Delicate also very high HP, but look at Xavi, that is the danger woman. Can she bring themselves back in? It looks like they're going to get this one up, and Go Aurora will claim the dragon.
Oh my word, Sana yet again going absolutely massive in these fights. Just flashes straight in. There's no ghost, no worries. Just flash straight in, get those passive stacks, and just completely decimated Big. It's just absolutely disgusting, the work that she's been doing on this Darius this game. But again, a testament to the amount of setup that we're seeing here. Kiana was able to get the depth charge off onto Xavi at the start of the fight, just disrupted some of her ability to really get going with this Serial, and just fantastic work across the board from Go as they look towards this Nash.
And how tanky Sana is as well. It is just unreal the amount of damage that is needed to take this carry down. Baron has been started. Paranoia going to be used. Is there a chance for a steal? 4K on this Nash. They don't manage to get in. The flash to steal! And now they're going for the fight as well, but they need to just get out of here. The guillotine has come down. The fight is over, and I believe the Big should be able to get away, but they are being chased down, and Vixen picks up one in return. 1 for 1, and the steal. Huge plays from Trez.
Trez at the 11th hour comes up absolutely massive for Big. Flashes the wall, goes, you know what, my life for the cause. Gets in, gets the smite down, and takes away the Nash. This is so big for the side of Big, because now there just isn't that same level of pressure that the Ziggs and the Belveth would otherwise have if they had secured that objective.
They bought time. We're going late game, close to 40 minutes. Both teams strong, almost at max items. We now have the 4 items area as well, as we get the replay of what just transpired.
Oh my god, yes, the Paranoia comes straight in a little bit, poke over the wall there from the Zeri, but look at Crow right now. The burst just isn't there. Flash is over, sends the trail out, secures it with the smite on the 1-2. The Baron was at 1300 HP, and then Trez is like, yeah, well, I've got mine. I'll see you back at the Nexus. And then Lumi is able to just dash out with the quickness there, and then they're able to pick up Kiana as well, I think, on the retreat. I think maybe she took one too many shots from a Heimer turret along with the Vixen's poke, but fantastic secure there from the side of Big. And Trez, they've been a little bit quiet these last 2 games, I have to say, but they're making it count here in game 3.
And does this bring them back into the game? Can they now take the lead for the first time? Can they be fully in control of this map? I think it's unlikely to say that they'll go that far. The Baron going to give them some towers, going to give them some gold. They set themselves up a bit of time to get for this next Drake, to get the soul, which I think is where we're really going to start to see the end of the game. I think we're slowly moving towards one path, and that is one big fight around the next dragon.
Yeah, when you have the sort of Earth Drake, the Mountain Soul coming up right now, it's going to be explosive. But at the same time, you know, if you're thinking about it, do you want to actually just let the team take the Soul? Do you want to actually let the Elder come up? Do you just
either way, it's coming up.
Either way,
it's dragon number 7. Someone is getting the
Soul hasn't been taken yet, according to the graphic.
No, but someone is getting the Soul.
Oh, someone's getting the Soul, but we could just see the fight erupt around the Drake, and then, you know, one last team fight before the Drake's even taken. You look at how far, what stage of the game it is. The death times are super, super long. You get one good push, especially, and it might just be enough to end.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is gonna go, man. I'm saying this is not how I predicted this series to be, but it has been a banger, and I feel like we're gonna get a even better finale. No Game of Thrones-esque stuff. As right now, here we go. Look, stepping forward, not going to be able to get into range. And on the side, we see Kayana looking for a hook there. Lumi also in the wings. They are going to be spotted out, and control is being taken of the river by Big Chroma. So what we want to see, the Heimerdinger can set up really nicely with the turrets. Now, obviously, Ziggs can start to blow them up, so I respect. They've separated out the turrets a little bit, trying to get a bit of poke down as well. Vixen, nice that the Banshees was there. Kiana taking a lot of damage, doesn't go down though. Almost, but going to have to limp away. And that could give a big opening to Chroma, because now maybe they have priority over this Drake fully. 4 versus 5, but Delicate stepping up. Pop also going to go down. It is going to be Zavi that stays alive though. Lightning Crash now, getting them a bit of distance. The quickness going to charm of the Darius for Sana. It's trying to go massive. They're going to have to step away, but the Ghost is propped. Vixen stepping forward. They kill Sana, but there's the GA. They're still in the game as Crow is holding back the rest of the team, but Sana comes back alive, and they will be removed. And that is a big moment. Here comes Zavi, but Cosmic knocks them back. They are not taking the team down just yet. They buy some more time, but is it enough? Can they get into the base? Can they end the game? Is this the time for Big Chroma? Zavi stepping forward once again. They're looking for it. The charm does not land, but the towers are their focus.
Absolutely, and this is really smart here from Big, just creating so much pressure, running down the mid lane instead of just immediately pinning off the dragon. They know that the death timers are super long. They know that Go are in disarray and unable to contest whatever they try to take. So they get down, they get that tower, they get the inhibitor as well, and now they just look towards this Mountain Soul. Wow. I need to see the replay of this, because what a fight we've just had before us, J-Real.
It's been so long that Sana has reigned in these fights, and finally they fall. And I have to say a big shout out to Crow, right, holding back the rest of the team. But let's get into the deep stuff of what happened.
Yeah, so the Pop Blossom only really picks up the Rakan because the Stasis had already come in. There's so much emphasis here on Big. Just Trez and Crow doing so much work to really split this fight up, to give the rest of the members time to take down Sana. You know, there's no hole breaker or anything on the Mysteria. She's not split pushing, so she's tanky, but she's also not. Obviously, we do have the Scepter come in from the Ari as well, the Void Staff, I should say. And oh wait, we see the replay again.
Are we in real time? Is this real time?
We're looping. We're looping. Thank you, Prod.
I was a little bit scared there. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, we do have plenty of damage now onto the Ari. We were talking about earlier how she'd sort of troughed her build with the Everfrost, with the Banshees, but now you have the Void Staff plus the Death Cap finished, and now this Ari is starting to get to where she needs to be at this point in the game. And on top of that, Zeri doing Zeri things. This is now a full build Zeri. You have to kill her so quick, but you can't because the GA is in as well. So it's pretty much impossible now for Sana to really do much on this Darius, because you have the Zhonya's on the Heimerdinger, you have a stopwatch on the Nocturne, and it's just so hard for this Darius to get those resets, to get the Noxian Guillotine.
But if they do, it is
but if she does,
dangerous. And right
it's
now,
Jova.
I'm saying Delicate needs to be careful. Vixen has been landing charms, they've been getting catches out, and they need to be a little bit cautious when they're diving in head first, as we're seeing those charms start to land a little bit here, a little bit there, a bit of poke coming out from the Zeri as well with the Ultra Beam. And they are starting to get a bit of poke, and with now the soul point there, the Mountain Soul on the side of Big. Obviously having that shield going to be very important. You've got to add those extra numbers into these team fights. Plus the fact that they just managed to pick up a last one. Baron is on the cards. Lilian taking a bit of poke there. Crow now up a lot of damage. Being able to be put out here. A bit of root, a bit of trading. Going to come out from both teams. Crow going to have to use stasis, which is going to be important in these fights. In the last fight, that bought so much time for them. It was able to separate out the two teams. And now not having that could be a game changer. Aurora moving towards this Baron. They want to start committing, but they have to be so cautious of the threats that Chroma have.
Yeah, because Chroma can just prod and poke away at them right now between the missiles coming out from the Heimerdinger. Obviously, that Ultra Beam, as you were saying before, there's just so many ways to poke onto this Baron. And Go need to do something here because you've got Super Minions pouring into their base.
Yep. The base is going to start getting contacted, and they have sent Cosmic back, but does this open up enough space for them to start this? Now, there is a TP on Cosmic. She can join the fight once again, because we're going to see Chroma starting up the Baron. There's the depth charge, and they're going to go aggressive. Trez buy some time. There's the double charm, but the damage isn't coming through. Lilian is down! Lightning Crash, and Kayana is going to fall as well. Sana is just on the side. She's not able to get into this fight at all, and Delicate is limping away from this fight. The Baron is Biggs. It's theirs. It's taken, and this could be the end of days for this game 3.
Fantastic patience being shown here from Big. They know that they've got the wave. As soon as those Super Minions pass the halfway point and the map, they're like, right, we just need to keep poking them out, being really patient on this approach, because eventually Go is going to have to send someone back. And they just play the macro inch perfectly. Knows that Cosmic goes back, and as soon as they see Cosmic show, they don't give the Ziggs time to TP back in. They hit that go button, lights go out, and then just beautiful engage. There he goes over the wall, multi-woman ult. Fantastic work from Big all round here.
And it feels like we're not done. It almost feels like we're going to an Ender Drake fight to end this one. Is it going to be an Elder to sort these two teams apart? I didn't think we'd get here when we started this game. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is just one of those games that has just gone so back and forth. I mean, it's the story of the series, right? It's been so back and forth, and we've seen time and time again Go able to really accrue these advantages, but Big are so good at playing later into the game. The later into the game it gets against Big, they just have it, and you see it in the comps that they play. They love to have those really hard scaling picks. And don't get me wrong, Go, I feel like they have some really good draft, but let's talk about that later. J-Roll, you look like the Knights are out.
Engage was kind of missed though from Chroma, and smartly so. They do back away. They don't want to risk a bad start to the fight that could lead Go to have a massive advantage. But the poke, the setup is still there. They still have time, and the Paranoia should be back pretty soon. It's already a quarter of the way back, so they do just have to stall out a little bit, and a minute until the Dragon, I believe that ultimate will be back up. So again, just playing the tempo, playing for the right opportunity, waiting for your time to shine, and not giving Aurora any sort of glimpse of a way back into this game. They fought so hard to take control, Chroma did. They don't want to lose it now.
Absolutely. I feel like the Paranoia there from Trez was just really nice. We talk about Paranoia obviously as a go button, but at the same time you can turn the lights down. It makes it so difficult for the enemy team to be able to understand what they, what the layout of the map is, where members are, especially into a dive comp as well. So dangerous when you have such creative angles that the Ahri, the Zeri, etc. can take. So just really good work and really good patience from both teams here as they're sort of posturing on this mid wave. But right now it's Go. They kind of need to go.
And this is the advantage of having the Mountain Shield. You just have so much extra health through this poke battle, and we see the Paranoia used once again, and in they go. There's a double knock-off. They get two immediately, but now the fight is on. Delicate is trying to survive, but they will go down, and Sana, the last alive, but is going to fall. The guillotine used, but it is Sana that is executed. Team fight, Big Chroma. They ace, and they're going to run this one straight to the base to pick up the series.
And Lumi goes so big yet again. This is like the second time this game we have seen the multi-woman quickness come through this engage on this Rakan is so good. She is so cracked at these picks, J-Ro. And yes, this is it. Finally, after the most incredible series, Big are going to take it.
In what a series from these two teams. Big and Aurora, be proud I feel like we have to almost call it a Shakespeare, the way this was a tragedy that one team has to go out here, because both showed so much potential, so much spirit, so much heart, so much playmaking, the macro decisions, everything that we wanted in a League of Legends game was here for show on this series. The adaptations, the consistency, it was all up for grabs, and it is going to be Big Chroma that come through on top, the team that we both predicted to win the whole series, but I did not predict how far Aurora would make them go to pick up that win.
It was absolutely obscene, and this series felt like a final, J-Real. I don't understand how game 3 of today or any of the other games today are going to top that, because that had it all. It had steals, it had just the cheekiest of picks, it had drama, it had just these are the kinds of games that we live for. And absolute kudos to Aurora and to Big, both of them coming out, leaving it all out there on the Rift. Just absolutely fantastic work from them both.
Out there on the Rift, on your screen, there's going to be a shift because we're going to throw to a break. We'll see you soon.